Every lie. I'm archiving every distortion. I am Ibrahim Traore, and today I'm pulling off your masks. Yes, you heard correctly. I, whom you call a young military junta leader, whom you brand as a dangerous radical, whom you serve up as an anti-Western dictator, am now telling you the truth. And this time you cannot turn off your microphones. This time you cannot turn away your cameras. This time your editors cannot cut this speech. Because the world you monopolize no longer exists. Because millions will...
The mercy of the everlasting God, the leaves of rain, let God arise and all his enemies be scattered. Those who hate righteousness, the smoke is driven away, Father, drive them away. Lots melted, Father, is their meditation. They were there in great confusion, with no confusion, most and Lord is indeed the light and strength of my life. And though we stumble and though we fall, we shall not utterly be cast down, because it's right and indeed uphold I up, because love his tenants and adhere to his statutes. We are the children of his parcel, and thank his gift, his thanksgiving and praise, knowing that the Lord is God, is he that hath made us and not we ourselves. To come forth this day on the sabbatical man to greet the people of the world, the heartfelt love and heartfelt gratitude and thanks for you being here and being in my life for over these many years. We also like to thank the people of the world for loving the music. Reggae music was able to feed many a people, many a capital, many a nation, many a man and many a minds. We also want to thank the people of the world because they're alive and they have kept themselves alive to see this time, this epoch, which is monumental to the survival of the black race. Every race is secure, let us deal with our race in particular. We're on the cuffs right now of a monumental shift in terms of the diversity and the convergence of Africa, global power, being spawned by a great leader. We've never seen a leader like this in all our lives on earth. We have had leaders who come up and before you know they say one thing, and as they assume the reign of power, they do a different thing. We have leaders who are so bought out and so compromised that they can't even lead themselves. We are in this iration. We are alive to see a young man from the continent of Africa expounding on all the tenets that the great Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and all these great stalwarts and culture and all these great men sang about the liberation of the continent. The continent is the breadbasket of the world. It has become the foot mat of the globe. How could the breadbasket of the world become the foot mat of the world? How could the person, the nation, the continent who feed the world become global beggars? They have reversed the role and turned us into peons and serf under diplomatic agreements and agendas. But here is a young man who saw right through the smoke screen, saw right through all of that, and decided that he's going to put not only his life, but his knowledge, everything, in whole self on the line for us. Let us come together. There's no greater time to be alive than now. Remember I tell you this, because we're witnessing something that our forefathers and our ancestors dream about. We have seen Rastas now galvanize around this common factor, because Rastas will get soft when I hide and talk them grounds out. Yes, because when Rome come at and I say Rasta went to Rome against side, and I know that Rasta is no longer Rasta, Rasta turned pussy. But true Rastas are still around. They're not money hungry, they're not the money hungry dreadlocks, they're not pierce up them ears and go and eat a bunch of blood clot flesh off the earth. Good Rasta still about. Firm same way, lions. We eat you alive, we still around. And we love still good, we love still strong. Reaching out to the people of the world, man. It's a great morning to be alive, I just say, to the eye. Enough love, you know. Give a great joy to see a voice speaking from the continent we have never heard before. We have some old leaders, some guys who are almost 100 years old, due to relinquish powers to the younger youths and can assume the role of leadership to expound and their vision of what leadership look like for the younger youths. Then we're not having that. We have some guys in the Caribbean right now because they don't want to relinquish power. They rather kill the whole generation of youths. They cannot kill out the youths because you have no plan for them. You have no infrastructure for them. Murder become your next best bet for the youths. It cannot work like that. A lot of our politicians need to go. They need to leave and leave. They're old, redundant. Your thought process is latent. They need to go and allow some young men who are not compromised, who see the interests of our nation and the interests of the youth and the interests of the people and the interests of the whole ecosystem of the whole Caribbean community as a grand prize. Those should all unite to build and grow. That's what we have now. What we have now is mayhem and madness and chaos. But chaos breeds chaos because our leaders are chaotic, right? We'll just examine the example that you see in our time. This is a true leader. In my time, this is the only leader I resonate with. I've never seen another leader. This young man, they try to typecast as all these kind of things, is leading his people to a renaissance that Africa has never experienced. Fight if you may, argue if you may. But this is what we need. We need people to lead in our nations, in our regions. We need leadership as well. We don't have leadership. We have thugs, we have gangsters, we have thieves, we have manipulators, we have people who just speak the truth, them send them government force and them government badness to come bad you up and destroy and kill. So what that does is drive fear into the heart of the people. Like in my country, Jamaica. I have never seen this Jamaica before. My Jamaica has become so passive. I don't know if it's something in the water. I don't know if they have done my people something. We don't stand up for anything anymore. Everything is a 9-day talk and it's okay. Because they have spent their years making examples of ordinary Jamaicans, that real Jamaicans refuse to be made an example of. But like I said, if them silence 1 me 1,000 speak, if them kill 1 me 1,000,000 rise. Once we're fighting for the right thing, and we're trying to open the eyes of our people. Because you can't tell the level of poverty that exists in the region because the neon. Because if you check most of them youths who are going in criminality. Why? There's no opportunity. Check them background, they're going to good school, good education. But where do they place this energy and this effort? The music industry full, everybody can be a singer and a DJ. So how do we, you have shut down our trade school, we have no plumber, no make, what are we doing? We want leaders. We want back leaders to lead with people. Is I going to lead and lead out. I'm out.
Whom you call a young military junta leader, whom you brand as a dangerous radical, whom you serve up as an anti-Western dictator, am now telling you the truth. And this time you cannot turn off your microphones. This time you cannot turn away your cameras. This time your editors cannot cut this speech. Because the world you monopolize no longer exists. Because millions will hear these words now, without passing through your filters, without being subjected to your distortions, without being muddied by your lies. I am 34 years old. Every day of my life, I grew up with your lies. As a child, I would watch Africa on television. Always the same images. Children with flies, dry lands, weapons, death. This is Africa, they told us. This is what Africa is. And we believed it. We were ashamed of ourselves. We were ashamed of our own lands, of our own people. But then I grew up. I read, I researched, I questioned, and I understood that the Africa you showed us wasn't real. The story you told us was a lie. The fate you imposed on us was a script you had written. For years, how have you portrayed Africa? How have you shown it? How have you sold it to your viewers? As if we were creatures who had no share of humanity. As if we were savages left outside of civilization. As if we were wretches waiting for you to save us. Every day, every hour, every minute, the same story plays on your screens. Hunger, war, disease, corruption, terror, chaos. These are the words that come to mind when Africa is mentioned. In your Africa dictionary, there are no other words. No hope, no success, no development, no resistance, no honor, no pride, no victory. So I ask you, New York Times, Washington Post, Guardian, Le Monde, have you ever made Africa's successes your headlines? How many times have you written about Rwanda's technology miracle? How many times have you shown Ethiopia's reforestation project? How many times have you praised Botswana's democratic success? How many times have you described Kenya's entrepreneurial ecosystem? No, because these don't fit your scenario. Your Africa cannot be successful. It cannot, because then how will you legitimize your exploitation? If it's not in need of help, how will you intervene? If it's not backward, how will you look down on it? Have you ever asked yourselves, has any editor sitting at their desk, any news director in a meeting, any columnist at their keyboard ever thought, why are the people of the world's richest lands poor? Here are the numbers for you, real numbers. Africa owns 70% of the world's cobalt reserves. Your cell phone, your computer, your electric car won't work without cobalt. This cobalt comes from Congo, but Congolese can't afford cell phones. Africa owns 90% of the world's platinum reserves. Catalytic converters, electronic devices, medical implants, they all need platinum. This platinum comes from South Africa, but South Africans are crushed by unemployment. Africa provides 30% of the world's gold production. Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Tanzania. Gold flows like rivers from our lands, but our people swim in poverty. Africa supplies 65% of the world's diamond production. Botswana, Angola, Congo, Sierra Leone, billions of dollars worth of diamonds are extracted, but our miners live on $1 a day. Africa owns 35% of the world's uranium reserves. Niger, Namibia, South Africa. Nuclear plants run on our uranium. Paris lights burn with our uranium, but our villages have no electricity. And you still ask, why is Africa poor? No, the right question is, how was Africa kept poor while being so rich? Here's your answer. Colonialism didn't end. It changed shape. You used to come and occupy our lands. Now you come and establish companies. You used to take by force. Now you make agreements. You used to rule with the whip. Now you rule with credit. Let me give you concrete examples. With numbers, names, dates, but you'll never write about these. Glencore, Swiss-based mining giant, extracting cobalt in Congo. 2022 revenue, $256 billion. Tax paid to Congo, $500 million. That's 0.2%. Is this justice? Rio Tinto, British-Australian mining giant, extracting bauxite in Guinea, 20 million tons annually. What's left for Guinea? Environmental pollution and cancer. Total, now Total Energies, French oil giant, extracting oil in Angola, Nigeria, Congo. 2022, profit, $36 billion investment in Africa, dirty pipelines, Anglo-American, founded in South Africa but now in London. Diamonds, platinum, iron, taking everything. What it left in South Africa? 6 million unemployed miners. And these are just the tip of the iceberg. What about the invisible, the secret deals, the offshore accounts, the transfer pricing tricks? Every year, $88 billion in illegal money flows out of Africa. Who writes about this? Every year, $45 billion in aid comes to Africa. Everyone writes about this, but no one says Africa is not the continent receiving aid, it's the continent giving aid. While you zoom your cameras on swollen bellies, there is a huge system working silently in the background. Every day, tons of gold, diamonds, cobalt, uranium, oil leave our land. But how? Here is the system. Step 1, create corruption, bribe our leaders, open offshore accounts, promise them a life of luxury, send their children to your schools. Step 2, make deals, get 50-year, 99-year concessions, ask for tax exemptions, be exempt from environmental rules, ignore labor rights. Step 3, control the infrastructure. Take over ports, airports, railways, but only from the mine to the harbor. Don't build roads to the villages. Don't bring electricity to schools. Step 4, provide security. Set up private security companies. Arm them. Declare protesting. Step 5, silence the media. Buy local journalists. Suppress opposing voices. Serve internal unrest news to international media. And this is how the system works. It's been working like this for 100 years, and you don't see this system. You don't want to see it, because you're part of the system too. Who are the biggest advertisers of New York Times, CNN, BBC, oil companies, mining companies, arms companies, pharmaceutical cartels, the companies that exploit Africa? You live on their money, you defend their interests, and what I'm about to tell you might cost me my life, but it's no longer time to be silent. France's system in Africa is the CFA franc. 14 African countries still use French colonial currency. 50% of these countries' central bank reserves sit in the French treasury. France applies negative interest to this money, so we pay France to use our own money. Through this system, France transfers $500 billion worth of resources from Africa every year. Does anyone write about this? No. But when France gives Africa 10 billion euros in aid, it makes headlines. Britain's system is more sophisticated. London is the world's money laundering center. City of London, offshore paradise. Every penny stolen from Africa passes through London. Jersey, Guernsey, Cayman Islands, Virgin Islands, all under British control. Africa's wealth hides there. America's system is AFRICOM, Africa Command, 46 military bases on the continent. Official purpose, security. Real purpose, resource control. Drones in our airspace every day, listening devices everywhere. They say fighting terrorism, but it's not terrorists. It's people's leaders who are targeted. China is the new player, says win-win, builds infrastructure, gives credit, but in exchange for what? 99-year port concessions, mining rights, agricultural lands, debt-trap diplomacy, ask Sri Lanka, ask Zambia, and you write about none of this. Why? Because you're not free press. You're corporate press. Your bosses are billionaires. Jeff Bezos bought Washington Post. Why? For love of journalism? Rupert Murdoch's media empire, Fox News, Wall Street Journal, The Sun, The Times, all from the same hand, all giving the same message. West is good, others are bad. Carlos Slim is the largest shareholder of New York Times, Mexican billionaire. Where's his wealth from? Monopolized telecommunications, got rich off Latin America's back, now controls America's most respected newspaper. And you claim to do independent journalism? Who are your editors? Which schools did they graduate from? Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge? Always the same elite schools, always the same worldview, always the same prejudices. How are your reporters selected? How many languages does your Africa correspondent speak? French, English, that's all. Swahili, Hausa, Yoruba, Amharic, they don't know. They can't talk to the people. Your sources are always the same. Western diplomats, NGOs, experts, and then you come and lecture us.